What's up guys, it's Clean Game Reviews, and before I get onto the Gauntlet PSA, I have a quick announcement. I've been doing a lot of streaming on Twitch where I've been playing Fire Emblem Heroes and Fire Emblem 7 and a lot of other games. It's been a ton of fun to chat with you guys about Fire Emblem and other topics, and anyone who isn't already following my Twitch channel should click the link down in the description to my channel so that you can be notified when I go live. I hope to see you there, but let's get back to the rest of my video. Today I'm going to give you a guide about the voting gauntlet. If you have been watching my Twitch, you would know that I've been talking about sometimes being on the winning team isn't such a good idea if your goal is to get feathers, and I'm here to help explain why I think this. First, while I have been working on this guide for a while, it's not a strict science like most of my other guides, so please understand that most of this is speculation on my part, but with reasonable evidence. So when it comes to feathers, many people join the winning team because they want the 500 feather bonus for winning. But there are other ways to get feathers. The two other ways are rank in one's army and total rank in the end. First, let's talk about rank in one's army. You are guaranteed 500 feathers just for being in an army, even if you're not in the top 100,000. But you get a lot more feathers if you rank higher in your army. The catch is that a team that dominates, for example, like Team Camilla and Lucina, have a lot more members in them. It is much easier to rank in the top 50,000 when there is only 60,000 members than rank in the top 50,000 when there's 150,000 members. If you rank in the top 50% on a team of 60,000 members, you'll get 1,300 feathers, while ranking the top 50% of a team with 150,000 members will only get you 700 feathers. Even with the win bonus of 500 feathers, that still doesn't add up to 1,300 feathers. Let's move on to other ways to get feathers, and that is overall rank. Nintendo just added a new system that makes my strategy even better, because if your team is losing, your team gets a triple points bonus. So if you want to get in the top 100,000, you'll have a tough time being in it if your team is dominating in all rounds, because you'll never get the triple points bonus. So now that you have been informed, let's move on to my opinions on what you should do. Of course, if you just want to vote for your favorite hero, you should do that. That is what I'm doing in this gauntlet. But last gauntlet, I used my strategy to great success because I didn't care who won. If you want feathers, my advice is simple. You want to win the first 2 rounds and lose the last round. Let me explain. Now last time I chose Minerva, who had few members but won the first 2 rounds and later lost to Camilla. The thing is, Minerva's team was kind of small, making it easy to rank just being in the team. By being on Minerva's team, I ranked easily, but also won, giving me 1,000 feathers. On top of that, I only lost 500 feathers for losing the last round. So as long as my rankings in Minerva are better than where I would have ranked in Camilla's team by at least 500 feathers, I made the correct choice. But now my strategy is even better with triple points bonus. So let me explain all the benefits to my strategy. First, you get the higher ranking in the army, which means more feathers. Second, you get 2 out of 3 wins, which means you only lose out on 500 feathers. And when in the final round your team is losing, you take advantage of the triple points bonus, meaning your total overall rank will be higher. So you may be wondering, that sounds great, but how will I know who will get second in the gauntlet? I've been using a method which 13 out of 14 times has been successful in predicting the winner, with the only mistake being Chrom versus Ephraim, which was a close battle. Basically, I look at the vote that Nintendo did a few months ago where people voted for their favorite characters, and I use that data to make my predictions. Now I don't know how the triple bonus will affect the results, but I'll give you my best guess. I think Tharja will beat Lindy without any trouble. I think Sanaki will beat Julia pretty easily as well, but not as badly as Tharja beating Lindy. I think Robin will beat Merrick pretty easily. Henry versus Leo I think will be very close, but ultimately I think Leo will just barely win. Then in the second round, I think Tharja will destroy Sanaki pretty badly. Leo and Robin will be a lot closer than Tharja versus Sanaki, but I think Robin will win. Then Tharja will finally have a bit of a challenge against Robin, but she will beat him all the same, and I don't think it will be all that close. So my guide would suggest you go for Robin, but use the information I presented you as you wish. Also, to be fair, I'm a supporter of Robin because he is one of my favorite characters, but I promise I'm being 100% sincere and I'm not trying to fool you into voting for Robin. I would have told you to vote for Minerva if I had felt confident in my guide, but I wanted it to work a second time before I told anyone my opinion. I plan to make a guide on who to vote for to maximize your feathers for all future gauntlets, so make sure to subscribe so that you can stay informed. I also make banner guides and I have lots of other content planned in the future. I hope this video is helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments.